evening, Osceola County, Broward County, and any other surrounding counties that might be on tonight. I am your friendly neighborhood college and career counselor, Mr. Cook, here for our second college and career life readiness corner that we fondly refer to as the CCLR corner. As you can see, tonight we're going to be focusing on the QuestBridge Scholarship Program. It's a way to pursue college for free. But before we get into all those details, there are a few things that I want to run down with you, some housekeeping items, if you will. So all of these sessions are recorded. Somebody in the chat let me know that our first presentation that we did last week, the link is broken. So I'll have that fixed by the end of this week. But moving forward, you should be able to go to any of the topics that we are doing throughout this month. And just like you got on tonight for the live presentation, all you have to do is revisit that same flyer on the website. If you scan the QR code down there in the right-hand corner, it'll take you to that website. But you can jump on any of the topics. You can see up here, the flyer will be housed on the website. If you select the topic for that evening, it'll bring you to the live session, or you can select the previous topic and it'll bring you to the recorded session. You can also jump down here to the bottom. These I typically update by the end of the month. So whichever floats your boat, you can do it via the flyer, or you can come right here to the topics. It'll take you into the recorded session, or if it's the night of, it'll take you into the live session, which is where you are tonight. So again, you can scan that QR code and it'll take you to my website. If you're a Broward student or family, very similar setup. Our websites pretty much look the same, except we have different color schemes. So you're getting pretty much the same thing. In addition to that, this is Q&A time. A couple of you have already dropped some questions into the chat. So I would encourage you, if you have any questions, to use the Q&A box up at the top right of your screen. Also at the end of tonight's presentation, if I miss your questions throughout tonight's event, I'll make sure to answer them at the end of this presentation. All of your questions come to me in a private screen. And I only push it out publicly if I see that it's a question that's asked regularly, or if I think it's a really great question that needs to be shared with our audience. So otherwise, I kind of keep it between us. I answer you privately, and your questions come to me privately. But just know that that Q&A box is there for you to drop any questions in this evening. And lastly, for housekeeping, we do have closed caption available. It's live. It's available by clicking the CC logo at the bottom right of your screen. Even if you're not hearing impaired, but you want this to be in your native tongue, by all means, you can select that CC logo. Tonight's presentation will be done via closed caption in Arabic, English, French, Haitian Creole, Portuguese, and Spanish. So if you're hearing impaired, jump on. If you want it in your native tongue, you have that option as well. Now, with that being said, last week we talked about the 4 E's, meaning when a student leaves our K-12 system, there are 4 pathways that they're going to jump into. They're either enrolling into a 4-year, 2-year technical college, they're enlisting in the military, they are seeking employment. We talk about not just low wage, we want them to get into a high wage paying job. And the easiest way to do that is if we go through our CTE pathways in our high schools, because then they earn certifications that allows them to be ahead of the game, where they can get a job that's paying a bit more than just minimum wage. And then lastly, we refer to as the expiration option, and that is traditionally referred to as an intentional gap year. What we always say is that after graduation, sitting at home on your mama's couch eating hot Takis and playing video games, that ain't an option. One of these 4 E's is the option. So with expiration, yes, you can take an intentional gap year, but we have a few organizations that we work with that'll put you into some work or some service experience, whether that's here in the state, nationally, or even internationally. So that way you can readily identify your passions and your interests, and then circle back to one of these other 3 E's. But tonight, our focus is on enrollment, the traditional post-secondary route, going to college. And again, I said this is a program that will afford you college for free. So we want to talk about that very thing. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it off to one of our college and career counselors here in Osceola County, Mrs. Summers Zabios. She has become our resident expert on QuestBridge. She wouldn't say that, but I say it because anytime I see her do this, I learn a little bit more. So I'm going to pass it off to her. She's going to present. While she's presenting, if there are any questions that come up, I'll be monitoring the chat and I'll be answering those questions. But dig in, take notes, do what you need to do to get all this information in. And then I'll see y'all at the back end of this presentation.
Perfect. Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Cook. Thank you for the invitation to be here tonight. Thank you for that introduction. I want to start out just by congratulating all of the families, parents, students, educators that are connected. I am really excited for you. The fact that you are taking time out of your busy schedule. I know we all have endless things competing for our attention, but you're taking the time to connect tonight. It says a lot about you and a lot about the possibilities that you will be able to unlock with this education. All right. So tonight I'm here to talk about QuestBridge. I'm really excited. I've had a few students go through the process, make it through as finalists. We've had a student match, which is a long-term goal you're going to learn from QuestBridge. So I'm excited to be able to share kind of what I know and what I've learned about their program. So QuestBridge has two main opportunities for students, their junior and senior year. One of those is called the College Prep Scholars Program for juniors. And then kind of like the heart of QuestBridge is the National College Match Program. Okay, and so that's the one that could result in a 4-year scholarship, which is a big deal. A 4-year full ride scholarship. Okay, so before we get into either of those and kind of talking about the ins and outs of both, I want to talk about the why behind QuestBridge. This is something that I think is a very respectable mission and vision, something I could definitely get behind. And I imagine that all of you are going to feel the same way. So QuestBridge recognizes that there is this untapped talent in the lower socioeconomic backgrounds, that students who have that same intellect and spark and drive and passion and ability as students in the higher socioeconomic backgrounds are not receiving the same post-secondary education opportunities. And that has a lot to do with a few factors: lack of education regarding their opportunities, lack of connections to some of those schools and opportunities, and a lot of times just a lack of financial access. All right, students that are in that lower socioeconomic background a lot of times think that it's impossible for them to go to some of those more competitive colleges just because of the price tag that is attached to them, which is understandable, right? But QuestBridge is there to help students set them up for success, that they can access some of these scholarships and opportunities that otherwise they thought was impossible. So with that, there's two ways that they do that. All right, so they start out looking at the juniors, and that is through the College Prep Scholars Program. They are targeting high achieving high school juniors from low income backgrounds that attend a high school in the United States and want to continue their education. Okay, so it is a college prep program. So there's endless resources that these scholars can receive to help prepare them for the college application and admissions process. Now, we're going to get into a little bit more what high achieving and low income looks like based on the numbers that they have. But I do want to just take a second right here and note that they are not looking for U.S. citizenship. They are only looking for students who attend high school in the United States. So for those of our students who are coming from other countries, I want you to understand that they're not going to ask for any kind of documentation or anything related to being a U.S. citizen. So this is a program that you could also participate in, okay? With that, what exactly do they offer students? So there's a few different potential awards for scholars, and I want to note that it's potential, meaning that not every scholar receives kind of like the same scholar package. Being a scholar makes you a candidate to access a few different things and puts you in the running for a few different opportunities that they have. Okay, so the way that QuestBridge works is that they have a list of college partners. I'm going to show you that here in a few slides, but it is a very respectable list of college partners. And those colleges that partner with QuestBridge offer opportunities to students. So They offer specific opportunities to specific students that would be good candidates for their programs. Now, there's some things that everybody receives. So as a scholar, you would get specialized college application and essay feedback, which if there's any seniors, parents of seniors that are connected right now, you know that college essay is a beast. It's a very daunting task and can be very intimidating because you're trying to get a lot into very few words. And it's not like an essay you've ever had to write before. So that alone is almost worth it. Okay, but in addition to that, they work through the college application process with students, help to tighten up any loose ends and make it a strong application. They offer peer-to-peer support and mentoring, and they also offer all of their scholars access to the QuestBridge Conference and College Fair, which is a big deal because remember what we said, that a lot of times for these students coming from low-income socioeconomic backgrounds, a lot of it has to do with just not even having the connections or not even knowing about the different schools or opportunities. You know, if you're only hearing constantly the same college name, then that's the only college you know about. You think that's your only option. But by going to these college fairs and these conferences, you're going to learn about some of those other options that are out there and might be even a better fit and lead on to more opportunities for you after you finish your post-secondary education, okay? Scholars also get the opportunity to get some full ride scholarships to college summer programs. So that's usually the summer between junior and senior year. Colleges host summer programs where students can come, check them out, attend a class, do some writing prep, some group activities, kind of like relationship building stuff, and just kind of experience what it is to be on their campus. So those are great opportunities for students. They set up college visits and just different other opportunities that come up from the college partners of QuestBridge, okay? And then, of course, there is some monetary awards. They have a Quest for Excellence Awards. You can see all of those listed on their website, which I'm going to refer to a few times. That's always the best place to go, and their website's very user-friendly. But they have a few different awards that they give out to students, and they reserve those awards for their scholars, okay? Including like a laptop, $1,000 here, $1,000 there. So great opportunity to be able to access those, and it's one that you can apply for in your junior year, okay? Cool thing about QuestBridge College Scholars is their application automatically carries over to be a National College Match candidate, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. It's a big deal. And students who are scholars are historically 5 times more likely to be matched with one of their college partners. And you're going to see that the goal of QuestBridge is to match a student with one of their college partners. That's where you receive that early admissions and the 4-year full scholarship. So that's what's the big deal. Okay. All right. So with that, who are they actually looking for? Okay, so we know juniors, we know high achieving, we know low income, but what all does that really mean? So here you can see kind of just some numbers. This was from their last group of scholars, just to kind of see where students stood. I cannot stress enough that even if these numbers, you don't necessarily have this exact percentage or exact test score or exact income, if you're somewhere in that ballpark, you should still apply. Okay, and at the end of the day, the worst that's going to happen here is that you're not going to be accepted into their program. But still, going through that process of applying helps students to get ready for other applications. So there's no harm and there's no cost in your application. All right. So academic achievement, they're looking for the top 5 to 10% of graduating class. Most of their students have pretty much A's in rigorous coursework. So your AP classes, dual enrollment, honors. Test scores are optional, but you can see there their average scores. Again, this is one that I really want to emphasize. If you do not have those scores, you should still apply. You can opt out of testing if your scores are not strong, and it wouldn't be one of the factors that they're considering whenever they review your application, okay? You do need to demonstrate a strong writing ability, and they're looking for students with what they refer to as an intellectual spark. They are looking for students who enjoy learning, who enjoy education, who enjoy being in a classroom, and enjoy taking what they're learning and bringing it out into the community. They want to see that kind of spark in students, and that should shine through in your application. So you want to be thinking about that as you're completing some of those pieces, okay? You can see their financial criteria. Just like to give you an idea, a household of 4 people with an annual income of about $65,000 or less is what they are generally looking for. Now, there's definitely exceptions. Just want to keep emphasizing that. Even if your family is a little above this, or you have a different number of members in your family and this is about where you're at, you should still apply, okay? And then they also consider personal circumstances. They're looking for those first-generation college students, looking for students who are involved with extracurriculars. There might be some extenuating circumstances in your family, personal traits that you might have, your ethnic backgrounds, all of that different stuff. They are considering all of that as they are reviewing student applications. So that's why, especially those personal circumstances, that's why I say no matter what, with the other 2, you should still apply, because you might still qualify based on one of those different areas, okay? And I already said to be a college scholar with QuestBridge is very beneficial, just because of all those different things that they offer. Okay, so when and how do you apply? You're going to apply your junior year. The application is free. That's what I'm saying. You're not losing anything by putting your name out there. It's outlined on their website, and they give a lot of support resources, which I really like and appreciate about QuestBridge. They do some webinars. They have some videos already set up on there that you can watch to help prepare you with your essay and kind of the stuff they're looking for. The application is due late March of your junior year. It's not open yet for current juniors, but you can go ahead and get on their website and start preparing things. Just really go in depth and check out all the pieces that they're going to want. That way you have them ready to go when it comes time to apply. All right, and then they notify students towards the beginning of the summer after their junior year. Okay. So definitely worth it, juniors. All right. So now with that, let's go ahead and move over to the National College Match Program. Now, like I said, this is the heart of QuestBridge. Okay. The National College Match Program offers students early admission to some prestigious colleges and universities, and a full ride 4-year scholarship. Okay, which is a big deal. These schools, we know they're expensive. That's why students cannot always access them. But they also are very compassionate towards that, and they offer these scholarships to students. Okay, so to be a QuestBridge College Match qualifier, you need to be a high school senior. This program you apply for in your senior year. You need to have excelled academically. You need to be excellent on your transcript, okay? And again, you're going to see that same low income criteria. Your household income should be less than $65,000 for the average family of 4. I would not let that be the reason you don't apply. If you're meeting everything else and you're not far off from that number, like I have kept saying, you should still apply. Okay, so what happens is students go through the application process, and you are competing to match with one of their college partners. So here's the list of all of their current college partners, and this might change very little, but it could potentially change if you added, maybe if you step out. But you can see here, this is just like, this list of colleges is jaw-dropping. Okay, they are very respectable, extremely competitive schools, great opportunities for our students. But now you can see why students from those lower socioeconomic backgrounds, for the most part, they wouldn't be applying to these schools. They think, okay, I don't even have a chance, so why am I even going to put my name out there? Alrighty. Students, though, going through QuestBridge could get a full 4-year ride to one of these partners. And then also, just going back to the previous program for juniors, these are the schools that you could go to for some of those summer college programs. They offer you support through the application process. They waive application fees. They talk about your essay. They're there at the college fair. So it's hard to get all of these schools in one room. So those are all great opportunities for students. Okay. Now, the QuestBridge National College Match, the goal is to match. So, and I love the pictures that QuestBridge puts together of their students when they match. it's exciting to see how they're connecting students to these great opportunities. Okay, there's a few things that you should definitely know as you go through the process. So when you apply to the QuestBridge National College Match Program, you make it to the place of having to match schools. You can only be matched with one school. Okay, it's not that you're going to come back matched with 10 of their college partners. What happens is you rank the colleges based on the ones that you interested in, and you rank them number 1 through 12, I believe you can rank. And then colleges come back with accepting students. The college highest on your list that also accepts you is the college that you would match with. Okay, you are committed to attending your match school the following fall. So this is binding when you go through this process. So it's important for students to understand that, and that's why they repeat that through the application process. Your counselors have to talk to you about that and sign off that you understand. But when you go through the process of matching with a college, you are bound to attend that college, which means you take back any other application that you've put in. Okay, there's not a lot of risk in going through QuestBridge with this binding commitment, because the part of that match is a full scholarship. So financially, you're going to be taken care of. So you're not going to have to worry about, oh, but then I'm going to have to pay all these extra fees. It's just that you have to commit to going to that school. Okay. You have the option not to rank schools, so you don't have to go through that process, but then you will not be considered for their scholarship. Okay, as you guys can see there, you would only benefit from applying through QuestBridge regular decision, which means that there's still some perks in that, but you would not be able to access the match scholarship, which is the 4-year full scholarship. Okay, so just keep some of those points in mind as you go through the process, not to scare anybody whatsoever, but I want to make sure everybody's aware of what they're signing up for as they go through QuestBridge. Okay. And this is kind of what the timeline looks like for the National Match Program. You start out late summer, you start your free online application, and it is free. They're not trying to charge students. That's not how they're making up their scholarship money, okay? They are looking to connect students who don't have the financial resources otherwise with schools that they know that they're going to excel in, okay? Students, this all happens very fast. Late summer, you start your application. By December, you find out that you're matched and you have a full ride scholarship to the school that you matched with, and that's it. You're done. So it happens very fast. The good news is, even if you go through this process and you do not match with a college, all right, you don't make it to the finalist round, and you don't match with a college, you still benefit from the fact that you've submitted college applications early. You've already secured letters of recommendation. You better understand the college application process. You've gone through the process of reviewing your essay, editing it, everything's in place. So it keeps you on a timeline, which is really nice. And it's a timeline that's ahead of the game. Okay, so whether or not you, which I know, of course, it's going to be disappointing if you go through the process and you don't get that 4-year scholarship. But even if not, you benefit from all of this prep work. And guys, I just can't tell you how beneficial that is to you. As you go through the college application process in your senior year, just in general, things fly by. And the more you can do Q1, the beginning of Q2, and just get done and put away, the better off you're going to be come second semester when things get even busier, because 1, we really want to celebrate. 2, you're going to already be thinking about life after high school. And then 3, there's just a lot still going on at school that you have to keep up with. So QuestBridge helps students personally, I think, even more than just that scholarship, just getting them to get applications and essays and everything else already done. So lots of benefits there for everybody. Okay. And there you can see a great layout of their process, their timeline. The specific dates change, of course, year to year, but it all pretty much ends up the same week or so. Okay. All right. So that was QuestBridge in a nutshell. I feel like I flew through that. Excuse me, just a recap. America definitely has an undiscovered population of talented, low-income youth, all right? Sadly, sometimes we only focus on the talent of certain subgroups But we need to recognize that we have talent spread across all of the income levels. And with that, QuestBridge comes in to help juniors through college prep and seniors through college match. So both phenomenal programs. More than either of those and more than QuestBridge, my mission tonight, my burden tonight, is to make sure that all of those who are connected and watching this recording understand that there are programs out there to help students reach their dreams, okay? There are programs for all kinds of different populations, subgroups, niches, all kinds of things, depending on what's your passion and why you wake up in the morning and what you want to do after high school. You just have to find the program. Okay, so the more research you can do, the better. I'm really excited to know that there might be some 9th and 10th graders connected to this, parents, family, even younger, because hearing about all the options is really going to set you up for success when it comes time to put through the application. So I'm hoping that you really feel that excitement, that hope through tonight's presentation. QuestBridge is a phenomenal opportunity for students that come from that low income population, and to connect them with the full 4-year scholarship and just the endless college resources. Okay. All right, so that wraps up tonight. I kept it short and sweet and to the point, I hope. I want to encourage you to go over to their website. They have some testimonials. They have great resources. All of their stuff's free. Even if you're not doing their application process, you can even still check out their essay tips or letters of recommendation, which would apply to a lot of things. So still worth kind of checking out some of those free resources, okay? If you have any questions, put them in the chat. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us. And with that, I'm going to give it back to you, Mr. Cook. Have a great night, and I look forward to hearing some of the responses and learning that we have some finalists from our audience.
Thank you, Mrs. Zavallos, for that presentation. A few things that I want to recap on. Y'all are going ham up in these Q&As, man. Yes, QuestBridge is primarily for low-income, high academically performing students who are involved in extracurriculars at their schools. That does not mean that if you fall outside of that income bracket that you won't get accepted. You have a smaller chance of getting accepted. I had a couple of students that were outside of that bracket that applied, and they were accepted. So if you are interested and want to apply, then I would encourage you to apply. But here's the other thing. Many of those schools that she shared that are on that list offer scholarship dollars for families that are above that bracket as far as income goes. For example, Rice University, if your family makes, what is it? Don't quote me on this. I have so many numbers in my head. I think it's around 75, maybe 85. It's a full ride if you get accepted. And then if you're 125,000 income, they offer, I think it's 75% that they cover, and then you have to come up with the other 25%. So many of these schools have such a large endowment, meaning a bucket of money, that they are that it still makes it affordable for you if you don't fall on that lower income bracket. So I would encourage you to take a look. If one of those schools catches your eye, I would encourage you to look to see what their financial aid is for different income brackets. I do this general search every year. There's a group of juniors that I speak to here in October, and I share that with them so that they can see what schools are out there that they could consider going to if they fall out or are above that low income bracket. So that's another little sneaky tip. Before I get to these other questions, I just want to point out a couple things that you see on the screen. Number one, upper right hand corner. If you want other college and career life readiness information, scan that QR code. That's the same QR code that I had at the beginning that will take you to the website where you can find previous presentations that we've done and upcoming presentations as well, and all the information on enrolling, enlisting, employment, expiration, for Osceola County, our college and career platform, scholarship information, dual enrollment information, Bright Futures information, all of that stuff you can find there on the website. So I would encourage you to scan it and bookmark it so that you can always go back to it. You can also see down on the bottom left-hand corner, I have a quick survey. It's about 7 questions. It'll take you a couple minutes. We're going to be here for a minute because y'all are asking a lot of questions. 13 questions I got in the queue that I want to get through real quick. Or I want to get through, not real quick, but if you'll do me a favor and scan that QR code and just answer those questions, it's just simply questions on the presentation, how we've done it, time, setup, all of that stuff. So that way, moving forward, we can make sure that we have the best product for you all. So this helps me help you, right? And then you can see it in there in the middle of the screen. Look, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I talked to my Osceola County people about this. I'm trying to get to 10,000 followers this year, not because I need the followers or want the followers. It's because this information is so important. I know that you want it. I know that you need it. And this is where you can get it. So in my mind, I did the math. We have about 4,500 seniors. So if I can get every senior to follow, and then one of their parents, that gets me to 9,000. Right now, we're sitting at 1,300. That's 10,000. That's more than 10,000, right? And that's just seniors. This was junior information. Here in Osceola County, we provide services and opportunities all the way down to kindergarten. So for anybody that's interested in college and career life readiness, I would say the #1 social media plug is Instagram at Friendly Neighborhood CCC. That's where the party is. We got College Week coming up in like 3 weeks. That's mainly where I do our prizes and contests and things like that. So I would say follow me on Instagram, but you can see that I'm also on Facebook, same tag, and then on Twitter at Friendly CCC Cook. Now, with that being said, oh, some of y'all done hopped on. Man, I appreciate that. We're going to get you that information. Here's the other thing. Now that you're on Instagram, y'all can DM me. So if things come up, hit me up. I'll answer your questions. My phone's on me. My phone's down here. Y'all see me looking down at it. I just saw a couple of follows come up on my phone. So, you know, if I don't have the answer, I will research it. I will get you the answer. I'll get you to the right person. I can get you the answer. So with that being said, as y'all complete this survey, as y'all get on social media outlets and y'all follow me, let me navigate through some of these questions. And if they're worthwhile, I'll make sure to answer them out loud. Otherwise, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes and I'm going to answer them here in our private section. I answered that one. That one too. So one question that I thought was important, only one student gets this scholarship. No, there are tons of students that get the QuestBridge scholarship. If you go on their website, you'll see they do a really good job, even on social media, posting when a student gets matched to their school. So they have a pretty significant pot of money. So yeah, this is not just like a one or a couple or even a few. We're talking about a really good number of students are getting these scholarships. So if this is something that you know, after hearing the presentation, you believe this fits you, I would go ahead and apply. Yeah, again, if you make more than 65K, I would still apply. Like I answered in private chat, I had a couple of my kids apply that were right outside of that bracket and they still got accepted to it. So again, the fallback, the little sneaky tip, look at these schools and see if they offer, the way that I searched this up, do they cover 100% financial demonstrated need? That's been my general search that I start to gather these schools that have special programs where, like I said, Rice, you can make 75 and they cover it. You can make 125 and they cover still a good portion of the cost of attendance. So that's the sneaky tip. But yes, if you're outside of the 65K bracket, I would still have you apply. Yeah, listen, if this is a really great question, and I want to talk this out. If you have a child that is you know, maybe messed up freshman year or didn't get that head of steam until later on, there's always an opportunity to go to college. And there's two ways to do this. Really, your junior GPA, what you finish your junior year with, is what colleges are looking at. So I'll keep it real. I'll keep it a buck with y'all. I'm always going to keep it real with y'all. Competitive colleges, you want to be around a 3.5 weighted GPA. That's not like hard facts. That's just something that I've learned over time. It's a general rule of thumb. Test scores, you want them to be pretty competitive. So around a 1200, mid-20, 1200 on the SAT, mid-20s on the ACT, that you take the junior year to really build that out. And as you begin applying to schools, you have a nice solid resume that you can give to universities. Now, here's the thing, and I tell students this all the time. If you don't get into the university right out of high school, that's okay. Use the community college, take a semester or two there, get your feet wet, and then you can transfer over to a university. Like, it doesn't mean just because you don't get accepted your senior year, doesn't mean that you can't go to a university. You can still go to a university. You might just have to do it a different way. Use the community college as a stepping stone as opposed to going right in to the university. But you definitely want to make sure by the end of your junior year that you shore up everything, because that is what colleges are looking at. Even with testing, you definitely have your senior year, you can still improve test scores. But the first test comes in August. You're not going to get those scores until maybe mid-September. You could use those on applications, but priority deadline is normally around November 1st. So most of those test scores at the beginning of the year don't come in for you to be able to submit to the colleges on your first run of submitting your applications and things to colleges. So really buckle down if you messed up freshman year, sophomore, and junior year, and get your GPA up. Make sure you throw in some AP coursework on there, and use, I would say, use Khan Academy for SAT prep. But we're actually going to be presenting on SAT prep here in a little bit. So stay tuned for that. We got some tips and tricks for y'all to kind of improve those scores. Great question. Yeah, so I saw a few of y'all ask this about the recording. So this right here, if you scan this QR code, that'll bring you to the website. There is a section called CCLR Corner that has the links to our presentation. So all of them are recorded. You can always go back to them. That's why I said scan this and bookmark that. That would be my advice to you. But yeah, we record all these. You can go back and check them out. There's not a specific GPA that's needed to be a finalist. Again, you want to be academically competitive. So at minimum, down at that 3.5, but really, you want to be in the upper 3s, lower 4s, 3.7 to like a 4.2. That top 5 to 10% of your class is typically the kids that they're looking at. But, you know, if you're slightly out of that range, I would still have you apply. Hold on, let me respond to this one. I got you. Yeah, everything. When we talk about the cost of it, they cover everything. So when you're talking about tuition, when you're talking about room and board, everything's taken care of because they want you to be there and you know, experience education, period, not anything distracting you from that. Yeah, my pleasure, no problem. Oh, great question about SAT. So there are two sides to this. So really this becomes kind of a bit of a research on your side of things. Many of the universities will do what's called super score. So they'll take the highest reading score on the SAT and the highest math score on the SAT and combine it and give you a new comprehensive score. But there are some schools that take your highest score, period. They don't super score, but the highest score that you took your SAT. So you could have taken it 7 times, and the fourth time you took it, that was your highest score. They're going to take that 4th one. Whereas other universities, you can continue taking it, and they'll take whatever highest score you got on a subsection and then combine it with the other subsection to give you a new comprehensive score. So you got to do a little bit of research. There's so many universities. I've thought about making like a a comprehensive list, but there's just too many. There's too many. So we always have our students and families look that up for the schools that they're interested in. You can, that's one of the main things that they have on like their frequently asked questions is, do you super score? Really great questions, y'all. Oh, great question. Is there a way to view the list of schools that were shared? Yeah, it's so when we get to Mrs. Abios, when she's presenting, it's about the 10 to 12-minute mark, I believe it is. So I would once I close this out, normally the recorded session will be on within 24 hours. You can go back and check those out, or you can go to QuestBridge's website, and they have a list of their partner schools. It's actually one of the tabs up at the top of their banner on their website, so that you can either see it through the recording, you can go directly to their website and see the list of schools. There is a limit. I just don't know what the exact limit is, but I don't want you to get stuck on, the question was, is there a limit of students that are accepted in this program? I don't want you to get stuck on like, there's 15 or 20. There's a good bit of kids. So it's selective, but it's not that selective. So like here in Osceola County, we have a program called the Osceola Scholars, and those are our academically competitive kids. There's typically about 25 to 30 at every school. We got about 11 comprehensive high schools. So you're looking at what, around 300 or so of our students that we have apply. We've had maybe, I think the highest count was like 14 of our kids get accepted, but again, it is a national program. So, and we have 67 counties just in Florida alone. I believe Texas and California are actually higher than us as far as that goes. So I still have our kids do it because look, my thing is, if there's an opportunity, we're going to take advantage of it, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. But whatever opportunity that you qualify for, we're going at it, and we're going to see where the chips may fall. Can you just apply to 3 colleges in QuestBridge? I don't know. That's a great question. Something tells me when I had my one student do it, you have up to 10 that you can select. So I think you can keep it down to a minimum, but I'm gonna have to circle back to that. If you want to drop your contact information in the chat, I'll make sure to follow up with you once I find that out. Yeah, we talked about the colleges. You need to go back on this because it's in her presentation. So it'll be in the recorded section, or again, you can go to QuestBridge's website to find the list of the colleges. Remember, the criteria that they're looking for is GPA. You don't have to make all A's, but you do want to be in the upper echelon of GPAs at your school. So at minimum, my kids that had a 3.5 GPA is who I had apply. So keep that in mind. Yeah, great question. Is the college match list limited to what was shown in the PowerPoint? Most appear to be high-ranking top-tier institutions, or are there no Florida State universities included? Great question. No, there's no Florida State schools in there. I thought University of Miami was in there, but here's the deal. We have a presentation coming up. It's called Sunrise Scholars. I refer to them as Florida's QuestBridge. So for my person that asked that question, be on the lookout for when we do Sunrise Scholars, because they do something similar to what QuestBridge does, but their schools also include some Florida schools. So stay tuned for that. But you are right. These are high-ranking top-tier institutions. And the reason that is, the reason it is that way, they have more money to be able to be dispersed amongst students. So yeah, and they're wanting those high academic, low income students there because many of those students don't have the opportunity. But Sunrise Scholars is coming up. That one's a little bit smaller, a bit more selective, but stay tuned for that. You get your information on that. I actually have the fellas that run that. They're going to be on here for a live session. So great dudes. Stay tuned, and you'll be able to take a look at what those Florida schools are that they have partnered with. Can't find your at. It's right there on the screen. Friendly Neighborhood CCC. Get at me if you can't find it. Because I just had I've got, looking at these requests that just came in, or follows that just came in, I'm up at like 21 right now just off of this. So scholarship does include housing. We talked about that. Yep. When can we as juniors apply for the College Prep Scholars Program? That application opens second semester. I believe that's the timeline. Let me double check though, because I want to make sure I get y'all right. Always pay attention on her presentation because she does so well, but y'all always hit me with too many questions. So I was distracted. I needed to update myself. Okay. Let's see here. For the QuestBridge College Prep Program, yep, I was right. Yes. So seniors, the college match, that opens this month. Juniors, the college prep, that opens in February. So you got some time, juniors. Seniors, if you want to get matched to a school, you want to hop on that ahora. If you're not selected junior year, can you apply senior year for the college match? Yes, you can. What if I have a 3.5 with a much lower SAT score? I get on that SAT, especially if I'm a junior. I'm jumping on that this year, making sure I'm using Khan Academy to bring up my SAT scores. If I'm a senior, you do have a couple of SATs. One just took place in August, and I believe there's one this month. You want to jump on that to try to get that SAT score up. Okay, we got 11 more questions we're going to get through for SAT prep. Yeah, honestly, y'all, for SAT, Khan Academy, it's free. It links to your PSAT, your practice SAT. It even links to your SAT, and it'll give you personalized study material based on the areas that you struggled the most on your test. So I have an older son. He's actually a senior this year. What they recommend is 20 hours of time on Khan Academy. So he kind of stretched it out over a few weeks and took his SAT. But before he did that, he took a practice test within Khan, and he raised his scores up about 65 on average. I did this with my seniors when I was at the high school, and their average score that they raised their SAT up was about 73 on reading and 75 on math. So when you think about that, that's almost 150-point increase. So I would tell you Khan Academy for SAT. That's just me. I've seen it work. I did it for years. I did it with my own son. If you're doing it and you're taking it seriously, that would be my recommendation for raising those SAT scores. Man, y'all keep these questions coming in. Ooh, y'all keeping me busy tonight. Yeah, I got you. Okay, cool. Yep. Great question. Can international students apply, or only U.S. citizens and residents? Let's see. And when you say international, are you living in a different country, or are you here and hadn't gotten your Social Security yet? So we would call you an alien or undocumented. I asked because colleges approach, they have a way around that. That's why I asked that. But that's such a great question. Yep, yep. It's on their website. Most of their partners will consider all students, including non-US citizens or permanent residents, through the QuestBridge application. So you'd be good. I like that. We'll bolo for the Sunrise Scholars. Be on the lookout. Okay, I just learned something new. Bet. I'll see you then. If you're here, the question is, where can we search for more scholarships? If you're here in Osceola County, I would go on to Zello. I manage the scholarship section in there. It's under your college planning tab. There's about 164 scholarships on there. I have it updated through December. When we get into November, I'll update January through May. That would be my first place to go. If you're in Broward, you can do the scholarship match on Naviance. So that would be my place. And the reason I say that is because when you go to these other scholarship spots, they're all pulling from the same national bucket of scholarships. So I pulled the big ticket items and our local ones that I know students have gotten, and I put them in there. That way I've done the search and the work for you. I've been in the district for 20 years, been doing this work for about 12 years. So I've kept my eye out on scholarships that I know are heavy hitters and ones that our students have gotten. So I would say if you're in Osceola County, get on Zello. If you're in Broward, get on Navient. If you're in another district, the only one that I use is scholarships.com. That's the only outside one that I use because you don't have to make a profile, and that way you avoid being spammed by the website. Bet. There are 3 kinds of GPAs. Great observation, great question. Yep, there's your weighted. So that's if you took any AP, DE, or honors courses, there are certain points that get added on that are extra. There's actually, if you want to be technical, there's 4. There's your unweighted. We'll go with 3 because I see what you're doing. I think we're on the same page. There's your unweighted, meaning we strip away all of the extra points and we just say base level foundation, this is your GPA. Then there's your core. Your core is what's typically used for bright futures, where they strip away any electives that aren't considered academic, and then they give you a GPA for that. We call that your bright futures GPA, which is your core GPA. So yeah, there are some different types of GPAs, but for most of the colleges, when they're asking for your GPA, unless they specify, they're looking for your weighted GPA. Oh, great question. So upcoming presentations, where do you get access to it? So I typically publish the flyer. Again, this right here is going to be money for y'all because this is where I put all of our CCLR corner information. So if those of you that have explored this, you'll see that I have this month's CCLR stuff on there, but we're also in partnership with the state. We're doing a College 101 series. We're focusing on a topic every week, I believe starting next week. How to find your colleges, how to apply to colleges, and how to fund your college experience. So I have all of that information on there for this month. And then about a week out for the next month, I will post that new month's flyer so that you can see all of the topics that are coming up and plan accordingly. We will always do this CCLR corner will be on Wednesday at 6 p.m., 6 to 7 p.m. But any special ones that we do, like the College 101, that's typically on a Thursday around the same time, and you can find that on the website. So you want to make sure to bookmark this right here so that way y'all have access to it. I think I'm doing Sunrise Scholars. I think I'm doing them next month. Yeah, because I remember we talked last week. I got them coming up first or second week of October. But again, I'll drop that flyer in the next couple of weeks on the website, and then y'all can see the topics that are coming up and stuff, but always 6 to 7 p.m. Which GPA matters the most? It depends on the college. Again, unless they specify, you want to do the weighting. Where can I find information about the schools in Florida? So if you're wanting to know, similar to QuestBridge, That information, you want to wait until our Sunrise Scholars program presentation. If you just want to know about you know what? Let me publish this one. I'll answer that one publicly because I'll give y'all a resource to check out. If you just want to know about the Florida schools, we refer to them as the SUSs, the state university systems. You can actually look that up on the Department of Education's website. In fact, you can type in SUS matrix and it'll pull up all of the state university systems, the GPAs they're looking for, the test scores they're looking for, any extracurriculars. And then the other one is called PCUF, PCUF. That's our private colleges and universities of Florida. You can even look that one up, PCUF matrix, and it'll show you the same thing as the SUS. ACT prep is hard, man. ACT does have some free prep. I don't want to talk down on it. It might fit you. I found that even with ACT that our students do well from Khan Academy. So my advice would still be to do Khan Academy because it's still focusing on that college readiness skill set that you need. So that's going to be my bet. Otherwise, you can go to ACT's website and they do have some prep stuff on there for you. 20 hours total on Khan, 20 hours altogether. So like when I had my students do it, we did it 10 days leading up to their test after school, and they just spent 2 hours a day focusing on whatever prep material that was there for them. Some of them had off the charts reading stuff, so they just spent 20 hours on the math stuff. So it really just depends on where your scores are and what prep materials on there for you. Ooh, I'm going to come back to you on the Cambridge one. What are the advantages of applying normally versus applying through QuestBridge? I'll tell you this, I had a kid last year, one of our top students in the district. She was denied by QuestBridge and she applied flat out to, where did my baby girl go? Harvard. It was Harvard? It was Harvard. And Harvard ended up accepting her. So she got denied by Harvard through QuestBridge, but then she did it just a normal application and they accepted her. And right now she's at school for free. So really it's just QuestBridge is essentially, you know, those partner schools are in there, then, and you're a high flyer, academically competitive kid, then we just get the one application done and we see if we can get accepted. And the other part of this is that those scholarship dollars that come with that. I mean, a full ride, you can't beat that. So if that's something that you think fits you, then I say, yeah, you do that. And if not, then you apply normally. I mean, there's no harm in that. So sorry, y'all are really working these questions. I appreciate this. Yeah, Navient is what you're use if you are in Broward, similar to what we use in Zello, but Navient, you actually spelled it right too, Naviance. You can go to Broward's website and find information on Navient. Like I said, our websites literally are the same. It's just that we use Zello and they use Navient. That's one of the main differences on our website, but outside of some technical things. So, I need to dismiss that. Do I have the same probability of being accepted if I apply through QuestBridge or apply regularly? I don't know. I mean, I pay attention to those things, but there really is no rhyme or reason. And last year, my student that got accepted when she applied regularly versus QuestBridge, that was the first time I really experienced that. So I don't know what their formula is. And so, like I said, if QuestBridge fits you, let's go QuestBridge. If it doesn't, then I would apply regular. Yeah, even if you apply without scholarships, because what'll happen is when you apply, the school will assess your financial need, and then they will give you a financial aid packet. In addition to that, you can always work on private scholarships and try to what we call stacking. We're actually going to do a financial aid and scholarship presentation at the end of this month, so you might want to tune in for that one. It's the last week of September, I believe. Bet. answered that one already. Let's see, pre-recorded sessions. Again, remember the previous recorded sessions you'll find here on the CCLR section on the website. I've only done one thus far. We did the SDOC 4E and Zella one. But as we move throughout the year, you'll be able to find those previously recorded sessions right here. To practice on Khan Academy, you want to make sure you create an account on Khan Academy. Make sure you have a College Board account, and make sure when you create your Khan Academy account, it'll ask if you want to link to your College Board account. So if you've done PSAT, the PSAT scores will dump into Khan Academy, and then they'll create the study materials. And if it's SAT, it'll do the same thing. What is the best option for student? QuestBridge, AP, or dual enrollment? It honestly depends on your outcome. Dual enrollment, you know, right now you're literally sitting in front of a professor taking a college class, getting that credit by passing the class, and you're not having to pay, right? AP and QuestBridge, you're taking college level courses, and while you finish it and it's nationally recognized, that is the advantage. So most universities take DE and they'll take QuestBridge and AP, but they like the nationally recognized curriculum that's there. It's just you got to get certain scores on tests right to get potentially to get college credit, and then you have to turn around and pay for that. It comes at a reduced cost, but you're still going to have to pay for it. So it really depends on your financial situation. It depends on the student's way of learning. There's no like right answer to that. It really depends on the student. That's a great question. That might be a topic that we have to address. So I appreciate you asking that. I'm going to answer this one to you privately. Okay, 2 more questions, and I got to get up out of here. I'll try to be cognizant of time, but y'all are flooding me with these questions, and I appreciate that. So I want to make sure I answer all of these. If you have Florida prepaid, how does that work if you get a scholarship? That's also a great question. So it depends on the school. Some schools will take that Florida prepaid and flip it. They'll match it. And some schools are like, too bad, so sad. So one of the advantages with Florida prepaid is pretty much if you stay in Florida, school is covered. But once you leave Florida, it all depends on the school. So really, this is one of those things where you have to contact the school or get on their website and look at some FAQs. Most of these universities that are outside of the state of Florida are aware of our Florida prepaid plan. So this is where you kind of have to make those connections with the universities that you're interested in outside of the state of Florida. Can you please repeat that for my daughter? Well, hold on. I was saying so much. Tell me what it is you want me to repeat, and I'll repeat it. Okay, QuestBridge is a scholarship program that's partnered with the universities that Ms. Ceballos presented. And part of this is you apply your junior year to get for the scholars program. That's the full ride. And then your senior year, you identify the schools that you want to be matched to, and then those schools look over all of your stuff. One of them picks you, and you say, okay, I'm coming to you. That's how that program works. Bright Futures is Florida's specific scholarship program. You have to have a certain GPA, test scores, and meet community service hours. Are we talking about this in our financial aid? We are. We're talking about this on our financial aid presentation at the end of the month. So you want to jump on if you want specifics about Bright Futures. And Bright Futures is specifically for Florida residents. There are 4 different ones too. So we'll get into that. But QuestBridge is national. Bright Futures is here, and it's QuestBridge is full ride. Bright Futures pays towards tuition and books. So it's a little bit more limited than QuestBridge is. Oh, the QuestBridge and dual enrollment. It depends. It depends on how a student learns. It depends on what the final goal is. Like I said, dual enrollment, you are sitting in front of a professor taking a college course. You get that credit once you complete it. You save money on college courses because it's typically done on, well, for us here in Osceola County, we pay for our students to do dual enrollment. Cambridge and AP, you take the nationally recognized curriculum in that course, but then you have to test and get a certain score on that test to even be considered for that to be flipped for college credit. And then if the university does accept it, you do have to pay for that college credit. It comes at a reduced cost, but you're still going to pay for it. Whereas with dual enrollment here in Osceola County, we pay for y'all to go. So you're basically getting college for free. Mrs. Zabios does have contact, but she's out of school. So she really services those students. You can come to me and I'll get you whatever answers you have. We can have a chat or whatever the case is. She's got a school to run. I got a district to run, so y'all can abuse me that way. So if you have any questions or whatever, we can link up. We can connect after this, and I'll help you out. I love how you spelled her name. I have a son in college. What's the best way to find scholarships? All right, I got 4 questions. I'm gonna get to these 4 and then we're gonna shut it down. I would go to scholarships.com. Literally, this is what I do. When my kids come back to me that are in college and they say, Cook, I need more money. This is what I do. I go into Google and I type in scholarships for undergrad students. And typically one of the top 3 websites that comes up is scholarships.com. And I give them that link. There's like 200 plus scholarships that are available for students who are already in college. That's number 1. Number 2, most colleges have a foundation within the college that students can apply to. So I would talk to a financial aid advisor at the college to ask them where that information is. And then I would have your son apply to there because there might be scholarships available to him that are housed in the university itself. Oh, thank you, Andre. I appreciate that because I accidentally dismissed that. And I was like, man, where'd that question go? Can you please repeat the QuestBridge? You need to apply for junior year. The Scholars Program is the junior year. If you miss the Scholars Program, you can apply senior year for the National College Match. Now, the disadvantage is if you qualified for the Scholars Program junior year, that's typically a full ride. For the National College Match, it'll match you to a school. There may be money that's attached to that. There may not be money that's attached to that, which is why we try to make sure our juniors apply, but you still have benefits if you apply your senior year. If your parents have a job but low income, can you apply for grants? So the way that we apply for grants is through the FAFSA. We want to complete the FAFSA. And depending on the results of the FAFSA, schools will then issue grants your way. So the FAFSA opens October 1st. We actually have a presentation on the FAFSA coming up at the end of the month. That's part of our financial aid presentation. So I want you to hop on that last week of September and get some information on that specifically. Listen, I love y'all to come to Osceola County, but my people in Broward, that's like that's my family down there. So I do know that y'all's school system is a little bit different, but I hear you. Yeah, remember, you're asking income questions, and this is going to be really important on my financial aid night because we're going to cover some of that. 1, 2, we're going to be on focusing specifically on financial aid stuff. So I kind of want you to hold that. But in short, what I'll tell you is FAFSA is based on prior years. So it's 2 years ago of those income taxes that were submitted, not the last year. So like, let's say you're a senior this year, it's not these past ones, but prior. So if, let's say, you're concerned about getting grants and your parent didn't have a job 2 years ago, but got a job this past year, well, it will be based on those 2 years ago. So there's some nuances there that we'll cover in our financial aid presentation. When do I... Sorry, I'm looking up one thing. I am unfamiliar with Cambridge because we don't have it in our district. In fact, I think we had it when I used to be a teacher, which would have been 18 years ago. But once I became a counselor, that hasn't been in our our programming. So I want you to do me a favor. If you'll hit me up on Instagram, let me reach out to a couple of my people in Broward and Brevard, and I'll get you some information. I feel like it's very specific to schools. Like I know in Brevard, it's at a middle school. So I think it depends because you're talking about your child being at a high school. So DM me on Instagram. Let me do a little research and I'll get you that question on Cambridge. I should be able to get that to you by tomorrow. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, would love to have you on for sure. And you'll get to see our Broward people on here too. So you'll get to see their faces and learn them too. I'm fans of theirs. I go to them and depend on them for a lot of stuff. So we partner on these. I actually think they'll be on next week. So you get to see their pieces and we do it similarly. So I appreciate you being on tonight and asking questions. There is an advantage to applying as a senior. There are some partial dollars that comes along with that. One, two, if the schools that are on their list are schools that you are interested in, then going through this program, they evaluate you quicker than they do through regular admissions processes. And as I said, there are scholarship dollars that are attached to that. But there are also scholarship dollars that are attached if you apply regularly. So you just kind of have to weigh that out. Looking at their, man, if you were here in Osceola County, I would say get on Zello and kind of look at, if you look up the school down at the bottom of that page, it actually tells you what their average financial aid package is, which is so helpful. I don't remember that being on Naviance, but we've been off of Naviance now for like 5 years. And I know that Naviance has done a ton of updates. So if you're in a different district and you're using Naviance, then I would check that out as well. But if you're here in Osceola County and you want to know what type of financial aid packages are available through these colleges, then I would say get on Zello and look that up. So there is an advantage, but it's really going to be what floats your boat. Okay. I think I answered everything. I appreciate y'all being on. Again, y'all can follow me on Instagram, DM me. I'll get to you as soon as I can. I'll be at a school tomorrow morning till like 11. So after that, I'll be able to get at y'all if any questions come in this evening. All right. Again, I appreciate y'all coming on. We'll see y'all next week in our next one. If you're in Broward, remember y'all are on Naviance, and if you're in Osceola County, you are in Zello. There are some similar components to it, but there are some differences as well. So in Broward, you want to jump on that. If you're in Osceola County, check this out. In ClassLink, all you got to do is log in, and we have a Zello app there for y'all to select, and that'll drop you into Zello. So I believe Naviance is similar to that, but I do know Broward on their website, they have information on how to access Naviance, so you want to jump on that. But again, we'll see y'all every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Check the website out, look for these next topics that are coming up. It'll be same format, live presentation, Q&A will be there for y'all. And about a week out of the next month, I will make sure to add in the next flyer so that you can see what those upcoming topics are. I appreciate y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great night.